Hey guys, Unfrequented World, back in the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV electric hybrid plug-in. I felt that we should talk about the car, but I felt that if we weren't in the car, it just wasn't the right place. So we're going to go for a little drive, simply because I haven't used my 35 kilometers of electric driving today. Well, that and I just still want to try out the new car. I've only had it 4 days now, and we've put over 200 kilometers on, all in-town driving, and all of it with the electric. I did about 20 kilometers where I did recharge the car one day. We went out of town just for a little drive, and on the way back we ran out of electric. So I did 20 kilometers with the charge on. And what I wanted to talk about today is I can feel already my driving style changing. When I'm in the electric car, in electric mode, I feel my road rage melt away. When I drove the turbo, I drove turbo style. Get there as fast and as hard as you can and leave everybody in the dust. Why? You are paying for the gas, enjoy the power. I don't know, it's a mental state. But I honestly feel if everybody drove one of these electric cars, we would all calm down just a little bit. I find I try to go as far as I can, as cheaply as I can. If that means picking the kids up and having no heater on so that we get that extra 10 kilometers in electric mode, it's only been 4 days, and yes guys, I've done it. The car was actually fogging up the other night, and I still refused to turn the heaters on because I wanted to get that extra 10 kilometers. And we made it home. We could see no problem. It was fine. I feel that society as a whole, if we were all like this, and we were all doing 100 kilometers in nice, silent driving mode, we would enjoy things a little more. We wouldn't be racing and pushing each other bumper to bumper. And I don't even live in a big city. As you can see, probably some of these trees and things that are going by, this is just my home road here. I actually kind of live in the bush. But I have noticed, like I say, my driving style is changing thanks to this car. Cold? It's not cold in here. Just put on a sweater. I found a solution for having no heaters on, and that's the heated seats. The heated seats don't seem to affect EV range at all. Now the kids will whine and complain and tell you that they don't have heated seats in the back, but that's not my problem. Not a nit of mine, but my wife was not a fan of the B5 level braking. She didn't like this movement all the time. But hey, if I can get an extra 2-3 kilometers out of it, we're gonna hypermile. Spare tire? Who needs a spare tire? I've got 10 years roadside assistance. I also had an astute viewer point out that I was silly enough to put a blind spot mirror on a car that has blind spot indicators. Yeah, well, there's a reason for that. When you have more than one car in your family, you have a tendency to fall into bad habits. The reason we have blind spot mirrors on both cars is because years ago, we only had them on one, and then when you switch vehicles, there is some kind of brain phenomenon that happens, and you physically look at the mirror, and even though there's no blind spot mirror there, you go ahead and switch lanes. Well, the same thing is going to apply here. If you didn't have the blind spot mirror, you would get used to the ticker going, beep, 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 there's a car there. I get in my wife's car for some reason if I have to drive that around, and I'd be listening, I would be attuned for this beep, 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 and next thing you know, you'd be changing lanes, you know, without checking your blind spot, which is what's going to happen is you're going to become reliant on these systems in the car. So to keep everything the same, that's why I put the blind spot mirror on here, and I still use it, and you should use it. I've pretty much had to let my Excel sheet that's tracking fuel and electricity go by the wayside because there's really no way to track fuel in this car. Even though I'm using 90-some% electricity, the engine does kick on if you turn on the fan, or at various times I've seen it kick on. I'm not sure why. Even in EV mode, I've seen the engine kick on. I'm not sure why, with no fan or anything. So it does come on, and there's no way to really track all of these little usages. When it's on for a kilometer or two here and there, you are burning fuel. So at the end of the day, what I've done is, when I know the engine is on, I'm kind of trying to track. If I'm charging the car, for example, while I'm driving, and I run 20 kilometers with the charging on, I'll put that in there on the Excel sheet as 20 kilometers driven with fuel. So I put those kilometers under fuel usage, but there's still going to be a lot that aren't accounted for. I find that the system in this car, to show you your usage and track your EV and your greenness and all of that, it's not very well implemented. It doesn't show me, it doesn't keep a running total of my kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. When you get in the car and you do your first 35 kilometers, which you got from charging into the wall, great. It shows you use 24 kilowatt hours or 22 or whatever it is. However, once that 35 is gone, if you do hypermiling, or if the engine kicks on and you do any charging, that number, you will notice the kilowatt hour number drops. It's saying that you've gone further, thus getting a better kilowatt hour number, but it's not accounting that you're actually still burning fuel to charge the engine, or in some cases you're maybe in hybrid mode, so it's using electricity and fuel at the same time. That number is coming down, and there's no way that I've seen in the system that tracks just electric usage versus fuel usage together, combined, or anything like that. So the system is not very well implemented, and for a person like me, as much as I want to track this and say, hey, wow, I'm making all these savings, I can't. It's physically impossible. Unless every 10 kilometers I say, oh, the engine was on for 4 minutes, approximately 2 kilometers, or, and I have to be constantly writing these little engine breaks down and all this stuff. So anyway, I'm going to track what I can. My numbers are fairly accurate. The other one that annoys me is the battery. It doesn't show you the percentage of battery used. All it would have to do is say 66%, 42%, whatever. It doesn't. It's just a little bar on the dash that shows, it looks full or it looks half full, and you kind of have to guess, how many kilowatt hours did I use when I plugged the car in? And that's what I'm doing. If it's half empty, I'm just putting in 6 in the book. If it's 3/4 empty, then I'm putting in 8. And it's all guesswork, because really it could be 7.2 and it could be 5.4, whatever, which in the end probably does make a pretty significant difference. So at the end of the day, guys, you could say that I am loving the new EV. The family, maybe not as much as me, but they'll get used to it. They can put on a sweater, wear a neck brace. It's all about taking one for the team and doing what needs to be done to get as many miles as you can for free, or near to free. Whew, now that that's done, I'm going to have to stop for a hot coffee. Except we're not allowed to drink coffee in the new car.